Alright, I want to do a quick yet unprofessional video on the difference between a Verus Edge and a Zeus. So we're plugged into a 2010 Toyota Prius. We're going to go into engine systems, read a trouble code, current codes, and we end up on this codes landing page. So it tells me how many codes it has found. And if there was more than one, of course, this list would be longer. So it says, right now I got a P0401, EGR flow insufficient detected. And I'm going to hit the diagnose button. And as I do, it will start to fill in all of my intelligent diagnostics. And so this right here is the difference between a Zeus and all other scanners. So notice what it fills in. So names the code at the top. Says technical service bulletins, and there's 2 of them, so I can expand on that. But before I do, I want to look at a couple of the other choices here. So notice it says top repair, so I have my sure track info, and so it says replacing the EGR valve appears to be the #1 repair. As I scroll down, there's smart data, and so when I want to look at data, it'll give me just the data that I need to see as it's related to this trouble code. If there's any functional tests that I can perform with the scan tool, so things that I tell the car to do, they appear there. And then guided component tests where I can go into the multimeter and lamp scope in order to test individual components. Scroll all the way down to the bottom of this list and it gives me the sure track fixes with complaint, cause, and correction. So that's the difference between a Zeus and other scanners, is this codes landing page and my intelligent diagnostics menu. So let's go a little more in depth. If I choose technical service bulletins, it expands it, and there's 2 of them. Now, I read this before and cheated a little bit. The top one says this is an obsolete technical service bulletin, so I'm going to choose this bottom one. And so it tells me if you have a check engine light on, a P0401, and or this rattle after a cold soak. So it says, here are the vehicles, there's my VIN brakes to see if that vehicle qualifies, and everybody knows what a service bulletin is and how they work. And so this says that this vehicle would require an EGR replacement and some reprogramming. Exit out of here. Again, we already talked about the sure track information, so it says the top repairs on this are replacing the EGR valve. That seems to be the way the vast majority of these are repaired. If I go on smart data, it shows me engine RPMs, coolant temp, and then EGR commanded and actual position, so I can see, is my EGR valve exactly where it's supposed to be? And if that data was out of place or if there was something wrong, it would flag it in red. And I don't have any red flagged here at the moment because right now it's commanded closed, and it is closed. But if it was not the case, it would flag the data as being out of bounds. When I bail out of that menu, it brings me to my regular data list. And so if I was scanning my vehicle without the help of intelligent diagnostics and I went into data, it would give me all of these menus, of which I could choose and go search around for my EGR data. But I didn't have to do that. I went into my smart data list and it gave me just what I needed. If I back out of here and now go to my functional test list. So what things can I command with the scan tool in order to help me diagnose this code? So expand this menu. And I have this EGR step position. I'm going to choose that. And it says, this text activates the EGR valve step motor position. It activates with the key on and engine on, so it's got to be running. And then it says step position 0 equals closed, 110 is fully open. So let's try this. Let's start the engine and we're going to try this test. Engine's running. Continue. Let me scroll down to my EGR position. Make a graph on it there. And I hit the test button so I can command my EGR valve. And now I start to say, where do I want to command it? 1%, 2%, it's going to be a long way to 110. So you can see I can command it to step position 31. You hear the engine's laboring a little bit as we've opened up the EGR valve, about 17%. Close it back up again, and so we see right now it's acting like it's supposed to. I command it open, it opens. I commanded it to any individual step, and it goes there. And when I'm done, I can exit out of that test. So we've looked at technical service bulletins, SureTrack, smart data, specific functional tests as they relate to that particular trouble code, and then last on this list here is guided component tests. And if I open this up, there's a test for linear EGR solenoid. And just like all my guided component tests, oops, I ended up pushing the wrong button there. EGR systems, linear EGR solenoid, so we went in a circle to get there. My fault. Like we always have with all of our component information, we can scroll down to the bottom here, and it says EGR is mounted to the cooler. It's located on the rear of the cylinder head, opposite side of the timing chain. This is what the connector looks like. It's a 6-pin connector, and then there are all my wire colors, pin numbers, and functions. Back out, I can do a signature test. And then of course it tells me, you know, again, just like in all of our component tests, where to hook what wires. So yellow to the EGR valve number 1, which would be pin 4, it's a red wire. Black to a known good ground. There's the pattern I should get. And there's the meter to see it. So there's the intention of guided diagnostics, or intelligent diagnostics. It is, you have a particular trouble code, we tell you, here are the service bulletins as they are related to this particular problem. Here are the top fixes. Here's the data that you should be looking at. Here are the functional tests you need in order to diagnose this problem. Here's the component test menu in order to use your multimeter and lab scope. So it just takes everything and puts it all on one page in the order that you ought to repair it or diagnose it. And that's it.